Yo, 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 what's going on, guys? It's Gabe.
It's Caleb.
And today you're watching the 32nd episode of the Positive Outlook podcast. What are we talking about today, Caleb?
Today we were talking about patience, and before we get started, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe.
Thank you guys so much. Now, what does patience mean to you, Caleb?
Patience means not getting ahead of yourself when you're, on a journey, or in more general terms, just not getting ahead of yourself in the moment that you're in.
Yeah, no, I like that. One piece of perspective I really enjoy when it comes to patience is when you think about getting old, what are you like anywhere close to being old?
Not really.
What do you consider like an old age? I know it's a tricky question because you don't want to offend anybody.
Right.
But I see myself as still being like a kid, like kid mentality, not mentality, but kid energy. And still goofing around and having fun in life while still being professional when I need to be. But probably until I'm like 50, I'm still going to feel really young. And that's because life is long.
Yeah.
A lot of people say life is short. It goes by very quickly. I can admit that. Life goes by very quickly. But when you think about all of the things you've been able to do in your life, and like us, you've been out of high school for 2 years now.
Yep.
And I've been out of high school for 4 years. And it's crazy because we've only been in the real world for not even the amount of time we had before we went to kindergarten.
Right. And with the whole, life is long kind of thing, if you look back at it, obviously there's some things that feel like they were yesterday. If it's like, how did time pass that quickly?
Right.
But then at the same time, it feels like it was lifetimes ago,
Mm-hmm.
2 years ago. Lifetimes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help with COVID, which was kind of like a void of time.
Yeah.
But it's just that general perspective of time. It's so strange.
Yeah, definitely. Time is perceived differently through everybody who goes through, some people are like, this week is taking so long. And then other people are like, this week flew by. And so It really is. It's really just, what's the word? It's like relative. It's relative to, I guess, what you're doing and who you are.
And even on like a basis of, there's some weeks that, I don't know, I hate it because it's like almost like a superpower. If I'm having a really bad week, I'll sit there and be like, okay, this week's going to be over really quick. And the next thing I know, it's like the next week.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's strange.
I've never had that happen. But
Really?
Yeah. But I guess maybe if I like focused on it a little bit. But all right, now moving into patience. Today we're talking about 5 different steps to be a more patient person, or I guess just to understand patience.
Yep.
And so moving into the first one, it is focus on progress, not perfection. And I feel like that one's very important because if everybody is chasing perfection, you're going to get really impatient when things don't work out.
Yep.
If you focus on the little things that are going right every time you do something, then you're going to be more hopeful for the project or the goal that you're chasing because it's going more and more right each time.
Absolutely. In this sense, patience is kind of like being hard on yourself or not being hard on yourself. Patience is what you want. And people focusing on perfection, that is being hard on yourself. You're your own worst critic. We've said it many times. We said it last week with Hannah.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of times that you're so focused and rushed and get frustrated so much when you don't achieve that perfection. But if you take a step back and look at everything that you have done, you will realize that you're doing pretty darn good.
Yeah. And it just transmutes into accepting that things are going to take time, and it allows you to just remain patient.
Absolutely.
So moving into the number 2 spot, we are talking about practice. Practice, when it comes to patience, how do you think practice is important?
So practice is important because think about it. If you're in a sport and you got your first game of the season coming up, are you just going to want to rush in and play the game, or are you going to want to take time to develop your game? And, it's kind of like, you have that time frame. Don't waste it.
Right.
Relax, and this is kind of focusing on your progress. Take that time to practice at whatever your skill is if you have that deadline.
Yeah.
And just keep working at it. And by the time that deadline comes, you will be ready for it. 100%.
Right. And so practice is almost like one of the perks of being patient. It if you are patient and remain disciplined to not jump straight into something without knowing everything about it, you'll have time to practice and you'll have time to get it better.
Absolutely.
And have progress, not perfection.
Yep. And the number 3 is reduce stress.
Yeah, reducing stress is so important. Because I set a deadline for you. I say by Christmas, you have to owe me $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's just a stressor that's going to make you, it's going to add impatience. It's going to add sloppy work. It's going to just really ruin the whole process. I guess step by step, everything. The more stress you have, the more pressure you have on yourself to do well, which ultimately can ruin the entire thing for you.
Absolutely. Like we said, we have an episode on stress. You can't have too much stress.
Right.
That it's going to turn, what was your quote? Turn crap into diamonds. But it can also turn diamonds to dust.
Yeah.
You will turn your diamond into dust if you put way too much pressure on it.
Yeah.
You will crack. That's just a fact. It's a scientific fact.
Right.
So just reduce that. Keep it at a good level because there are good levels of stress.
Yeah.
Go back and watch episode 24. A great episode.
Yeah, I was going to say, and some of you guys are probably like, well, I do better under stress.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on the kind of stress that you have.
Absolutely. And the amount you put on. So just be careful.
Yeah.
Do not let it get too much, especially around the holidays. These are times where stressors are very high.
Yeah.
So just make sure that you relax. If you need help reducing stress, we have some great strategies. Feel free to message us, contact us.
Yeah.
But they can be rough times for people, especially families that, you have to put a roof over your family's head and you have to buy them food and you want to get them presents. There's just a lot of things going on right now. So absolutely do whatever you can to reduce that stress in a healthy way.
Yeah, that's huge. So moving to the next one, number 4 is stop multitasking.
Mm-hmm.
You want to start with this one, Caleb?
Absolutely. So a lot of people think multitasking is like the secret to success. Yes and no. Multitasking in the sense of having side hustles and managing everything and balancing everything, that's absolutely the way to do it.
Right.
But people sometimes, it's actually kind of strange when someone is stressing about something or they're working themselves up, they start doing so many things to feel productive when in reality, what are you doing?
Right.
What are you actually getting done? And so that's why people who are impatient will start multitasking. Let me do a million things that don't help or contribute to the overall goal.
Yeah, and then you aren't able to spend proper time and put in quality work to each thing because you're so quick to rush to the next one.
Absolutely.
That, all of them are going to be subpar to what you expected them to come out to be. And it's just going to be a big waste of time anyway.
Yep.
So multitasking isn't always bad. I love multitasking. It's good to multitask in certain aspects of your life.
Right.
But you have to prioritize and understand what is worth multitasking for and understand the trade-off, the pros and cons of multitasking separate things.
Yep. So just be careful. It's again, it's easy to just get overworked. Just breathe. It's going to be okay. You guys are doing great. Just stay patient. Yeah.
And moving into number 5 is one we kind of preach a lot is watch what you're saying. Also, say kind things to yourself. It is so important to understand that you are your own worst critic. I know I am. I would assume, we've talked about it. You are as
Absolutely.
well. And it is so easy to get caught up in the why am I not enough cycle that if you can just take that step back and talk yourself down out of it and tell yourself you're doing well and believe that you're doing well, things will go well.
Absolutely. I gotta stop. I use that every time.
Absolutely, yeah. You do say it a lot, but that's okay.
But yeah. Saying kind things to yourself. When you're on your journey, it is so easy to feel like you are getting nothing done because there are times where you just have to sit tight. You've done your work and you got to wait. Right. And that is the worst time, especially when you're busy people like you and me. Like it's so hard to just sit still while everything has to work itself out. Yeah. And so you just have to sit there and reaffirm to yourself that you deserve this. You have put in the time. You have put in the work. No one else has been doing this. This is all you. Yeah. Just say kind things. Look back. Be like, I did this. I feel good. Yeah. Good job. Pat yourself on the back. Yeah. Because a lot of people deal with the issue of, it's like, oh my gosh, I couldn't sleep last night because I remembered this one thing I did in 3rd grade, and, but it's the same thing. If you're going to look back at the bad, look back at the good. It's like, oh, I remember when I, graduated this class with an A+ or something like that, where it gives you like that kind of boost and that affirmation that things are going to be okay. 100%. It is so important. So important. Yeah, definitely. Well, do you have anything else you want to say today? Congratulations to all the beanie winners. We're very happy with the outcome. We can't wait to share those with you. Yeah. Very excited. Yeah, it's going to be so much fun. And I'm going to love to see you guys wrapping them out there, especially in this cold weather. Yep. The snow is out, which is why we're all festive today.
Yeah, happy December, by the way.
Mhm.
That is
It's
awesome.
our first podcast in December.
Yeah, this is our first ever December episode.
Yep. So we thought we'd dress for the occasion.
Yeah. So we are festive as always. We are excited. And we appreciate all of you guys for coming on and watching today. Thank you guys so much.
Remember to stay patient and happy Monday.
Happy Monday. See you guys.
Bye.